Balaam's Wicked Counsel by Ginzberg. Although Balaam had not been able to fulfill Balak's wish and curse Israel, still he did not leave him before giving him advice as to how he might bring ruin to Israel, saying, "The God of this people loathes unchastity, but they are very eager to possess linen garments. Pitch tents then, and at their entrances have old women offer these articles for sale. Induce them in this way to enter the interior of the tents, where they will be surprised by young harlots, who will seduce them to unchastity, so that God may punish them for their sin." 785. Throw the stick up in the air, it will always return to its original place. The Moabite nation that owes its existence to the illegal relations of Lot with his daughter could not deny its origin, and followed Balaam's counsel to tempt Israel to unchastity. They pitched tents, filled them with pretty women, whom they provided with valuable things, and had old women take up their posts at the doors of the tents, whose task it was to lure the passing Israelites into the interior. If an Israelite passed to buy something of the Moabites, the old women at the entrance to the tent would thus address him, "Dost thou not wish to buy linen garments that were made in Bethshan?" Then they would show him a sample of the goods, and name the price and finally add, "Go within, and thou wilt see wares still more beautiful." If he went within, he was received by a young woman who was richly adorned and perfumed, who would at first set for him a price much lower than the value of the goods, and then invite him to do as if he were at home, and to choose the article he liked best. While he sat there, he was treated with wine, and the young woman invited him to drink with the words, "Why do we love you while you hate us? Are we not all descendants of one man? Was not Terah our ancestor as much as yours? If thou wilt not eat of our sacrifices or what we have cooked, here are calves and fowl that thou mayest slaughter in accordance with thy law." But as soon as the Israelite had allowed himself to be persuaded to drink, he was absolutely in the hands of the shameless woman. Intoxicated with wine, his passion for the woman was soon kindled, but she agreed to satisfy his desires only after he had first worshipped Peor, the god of the Moabites. Now the worship of this idol consisted in nothing else than the complete baring of the body. Hence the Israelites, seeing no evil in it, declared themselves willing to follow the summons of the Moabite women, and in this way they were seduced both to unchastity and to idolatry by the Moabite women. At first the men were ashamed and committed this whoredom with the Moabite women in secret, but they soon lost this feeling of shame and betook themselves two by two to their lewd actions. 786. Israel's moral degeneration is to be partly explained by this, that the place where they found themselves was apt to tempt them to lewdness. For there are springs whose waters have various effects upon those who partake of them. One kind of water strengthens, another weakens, one makes beautiful, another makes ugly, one makes chaste, another brings about lewdness. Now there was in Shittim, where the Israelites then dwelt, the well of lewdness, out of which the inhabitants of Sodom had erstwhile fetched water, but from which, since the destruction of the sinful cities, no one had drunk, and for this reason the people had until then been chaste. But Israel, as soon as they tasted of this water, gave up their chaste manner of life. This disastrous spring will lose its force only in the messianic time when God will cause it to dry up. 787.